afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. It is our lunchtime check-in. We've been doing it all month. And if you've been with us, you know that this has been absolutely incredible. I genuinely hope that you have picked up a nugget or two that is going to help accelerate your success. I hope that you have been exposed to something that has expanded the way you think about either the business that you already have or the business that you feel called to launch. I have been sowing these incredible seeds into your life with I believe that is launching your business. Now, there was just a little bit of a blip. And so I am going to say everything I said again, just in case. I believe that I've been sowing such great, rich seeds into your life through this live stream experience that has been going on for 18 days now. And I believe that if there has been one thing, two things, or even three things that has been said that has encouraged you in your journey, whether you're already an entrepreneur or you're becoming one, you feel as though you're being called to do that, that will help you move forward and accelerate your success. Now, I have firm belief that technology is going to hold up. In fact, I've been thankful that we haven't had any issues. My screen just went black, but I came back. So I'm thinking that I'm live and everything is going well. So I'm going to move forward with everything I have prepared for today. Now, I do have this disclaimer. I know 100% that I have prepared way more content than I can deliver on today. But I am going to try to do it justice. I'm going to try to get through it so that you can walk away from this conversation understanding some key factors about the strategy that I use when I work with my clients in launching their businesses. Now, just as a general blush recap, I am talking about women who have reached a point in their career, who have evolved to the level of success where they now know stepping into their next chapter is going to be a continuation, but in a different way. They are 100% resolved that they are being called to start a business. And what I want to encourage today and every day forward is that you lean into starting the right business for you, not just one that has activity and not even one that has revenue. I want you to have something that brings meaning to what you do, because when you at the crossroads where you're looking at what your next needs to be, you don't need more activity. You got enough activity today. You need something that is going to bring meaning into what you do. That is because what many of the women who are at that crossroads is desiring more than anything else is fulfillment, satisfaction, and that connects with who you are inside. And when you get to this point in your career that you're looking for your next, you are desiring for more impact. You don't just want to do something, you want to do something that is going to help and is also going to be transformative to the people that you are called to serve. And so, if that is you, another thing I know about you is freedom is big on your list of desirability. You want something that is going to allow you to be free in terms of the power of choice, in terms of the lifestyle you live. You want to ensure that your health is prioritized, that your family is prioritized, and the things that you want to do are prioritized. And so all of those aspects, meaning in the work, impact in the work, and freedom for you in terms of how you want to live your life is a part of the strategy that I bring to the table for the women that I work with. It is also a sign to me that women who have those desires are looking to do entrepreneurship the right way. They want to have a context that fits them. So when I say right way, I don't mean that there is a proven step-by-step formula, although I believe my method is pretty powerful. When I say right way, I mean fit you. The career move, the extension of your success, the next chapter is one that fits you, who you are now, who you have evolved to be. And one thing I know is true is that you're not looking for these quick wins. You don't want to subscribe to the hustle culture. You want a business that is sustainable, that's profitable, and purposeful to you. Now, what I want to talk today about is the necessity to have a money goal. And oftentimes we try to brush off setting numbers because we're fearful of whether or not we're going to be able to drive those outcomes. So we just kind of set ourselves up for whatever it's going to be or whatever it can generate. But I do believe it is so important to set money goals. And a lot of times when I'm talking to the women that I'm coaching and I'm trying to work with them to understand what they see is possible, I will ask for what is that upper limit of what you believe is possible. And if they say anything less than 50K, then I will offer the goal of 50K to them. Now, for some, that is going to be an absolute stretch. It's going to be a stretch for them to conceive the possibility of hitting that milestone. But one of the reasons why I set that as the initial milestone for the woman who is leaning into launching the right business is because it helps to prove that the business model, the absolute business model that we set up for them, is a good one and can work and attain money and reach a goal. Now, I spent a whole lot of time yesterday talking about how profit, in the way that I define it, isn't just about money. It's a package of things, if you will. But when you are in pursuit of achieving the money goal, you prove by hitting the profit that the model, the business model, actually works, and it can indeed fuel the life that you want to live. So I want to talk a little bit more about that package and how we make that happen. Now, yesterday, I unpacked three key indicators or three key measurements that I love to bring in when we're talking about profit in the way that I work with my clients to define it. The first is we do measure the money. So there is an assessment of the financial return. We want to understand how much consistent revenue is being generated, how much predictable revenue is generated, and what streams those revenues are coming from. That's pretty typical. But the other things that we measure as well is the personal fulfillment that you're having, that satisfaction level, because remember, we are not just trying to replace our abilities or our availability with busyness. We are trying to replace it with fulfillment and measure that satisfaction, knowing that your work has meaning. The last thing that we measure when we are talking about the profit package in the way that I work with my clients is the lifestyle freedom, because you have reached a certain point in your life. My daughter loves to tease me about this. I often say I am at a point in my life where, that's my favorite phrase, I'm at a point in my life where you and many of the other women that I support and serve are also at a point in their life where they are looking for more flexibility, and they want to ensure that the work they're designing creates the life that they want to live. We don't want to just be busy. We want to make sure we're busy doing something that fulfills us and also allows us to experience life in the way that we desire. And I know for myself, I came in day one with the goal of working from anywhere. So my business model had to be able to support that lifestyle freedom. Now, for other people, it may be something else. You may not have a desire to work from anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I'm not talking about Starbucks on Main Street. I'm talking about anywhere in the world. But your desire may be more flexibility in your schedule. Your desire may be more family time. Your desire may be more domestic travel to see family that is near and far. Your desires may be completely different from mine. But the key thing is this: it has to be a factor that's taken into consideration when you build the business model. Because if your business model means that you have to do pop-up shops every weekend, that's going to work against the lifestyle freedom that you want. If your business model means that you have to stay local to oversee the team, that's going to work against what you actually want. And so those three things are what we're constantly testing in your business. Are we getting the financial return? Are you experiencing the personal fulfillment? And do you have it set up to unlock the lifestyle freedom that you want, both short and long term? Now, profits. What is profits and what isn't profits is something that I think is key to understand. I'm going to do a lot of definitions today because as you're building a business, there's some key things that you need to understand that you just may not have had exposure to in your corporate experience. So let's just continue with this profit method. Profit, in terms of the first definition, is its evidence that the business model works. When you can produce a return, a profitable return from a financial standpoint, from a personal fulfillment standpoint, and a lifestyle freedom standpoint, when you have evidence that the returns can happen measurably across all three of those things, then that means your business model is working. And that means profit is happening, especially in the context of the package and the way that we define it. The second thing, profit is predictable, sustainable income that validates the positioning. Now, last week, I talked a lot about market positioning, and I talked about a lot of the factors that come into play with market positioning. In a nutshell, positioning is really about how your business is showing up in the marketplace. What is the magnetic identity of your business in the marketplace that is attracting the clients to you? What is the way you communicate who you are? What is the way that you define why your work matters? What is the way that you ensure that the message is clear, that you are the trusted source? And so when we have profits, when the profit package is bringing a return, then that means we are also able to validate the positioning. So profit says there's evidence that the business model works, and it validates the positioning in the marketplace. The third thing that profit does is it ensures that you are aligned with your purpose and the lifestyle vision that you want, that you are completely aligned. And that comes because of design. That comes with intentionality to ensure the business that you are setting up aligns with what's going to be fulfillment to you and the lifestyle that you want to live. And so it is a measurement of impact and income. It's a measurement of both of those things. And we get a chance to understand how we can scale it, how we can continue to invest in it, expand it, and even shift your time over time if you desire. Shift how you are building the business and where the focus of your time is. Are you going to pivot out of corporate? Are you going to keep your job, or whatever the case may be? Now, the one thing that it's not, and I think it's really important, because sometimes when I'm talking to people, they get really excited when they know that I am working with people to launch a business. But here's the thing, I'm very intentional. I'm very strategic. I know that my time, especially in the way that I've designed my business, is a premium. It's a premium from the standpoint that I invest myself in what you're doing. I understand your business. And so as a result, there are some key things that I am looking for my clients to have to ensure that it's a win-win situation. And I know that that may be a little bold, right? But I want it to be a win-win because I am just as much invested in your vision and your business as you are. I am thinking about what strategy is going to accelerate it. I am thinking about what pivot is going to make a difference. I become invested in you. So from my standpoint, profit is not just revenue. It's not just, are you making money? Gross income without expenses being factored in is just revenue, and it's not an indication of profit. The other thing is profit isn't hustling down the cash flow. When you find yourself in hustle mode, and there are times when you got to hustle it out, I understand that. I am a business owner, so I understand it completely. But when that is the model, when hustling is the model, it is going to leave you exhausted and you cannot sustain it. And so even though it may make money, it's not sustainable. And so it doesn't qualify as the profit package that I teach. The other thing that it's not this one-time launch or a quick win. It's got to be repeatable. It's got to be something that we can continue to bring back to the market and figure out how to make it sustainable. It's got to be repeatable. And so if it's only coming because of this one-time launch or this one quick win, that's not profit that's in alignment with the package that my program supports. And then the other thing, it's got to connect with you. It cannot be a lot out of alignment with you and who you are now. And this is getting after some of the times where we get invited to events to learn about some MLM structure. And yes, it may be a great idea and it may generate great money, but it generally fizzles out over time because it's not connected to you. You're handed an idea and you're told to go execute it, but you're not completely bought in beyond the money. And so when you got to dig deep to go the distance and sustain it, it usually fizzles out because you're not connected with it from a purpose standpoint. The money begins out strong, but it begins to feel empty if you don't find some other way to connect to the work that you're being challenged to do or that you have bought into doing. And then finally, money isn't the only measure of the success. We talked about the transformation. We talked about the impact. We talked about the community that we serve. Now, from day one of this live stream, I have been showing up to invite you into an experience that I have coined will be the place where we put plan and strategy to your vision. The Corporate to Entrepreneur Live Experience is the signature event where we will put plan and strategy to your vision. So if you're stuck, stagnant, you have the idea and don't know what steps to take next, you feel the calling but don't know what to do with it, this is the room where we will put plan and strategy to your vision. And let's unpack what that means, right? Because it sounds good, but if you don't know what it means, you don't know exactly what to expect. So let's talk about what putting plan and strategy to vision actually means. The best way to start with that is to understand that vision is a spark. Vision is what you see. It's this inner knowing. It's the calling that allows you to see something in your imagination. It's the calling that allows you to visualize the possibility, the picture in your head, whether it's a life or a business that feels more in alignment with who you are. That is vision. And for each of us, we sense it in a different way. For some of us, we hear it audibly. For some of us, it resonates in our soul. For some of us, we see it visually. But whatever it is, that vision is the spark, and it's so powerful. It is absolutely powerful to begin to use your capabilities to envision what is possible. It's a very powerful experience. And that's why it becomes this relentless tug that won't leave you alone because it's so captivating. It pulls you in. But vision on its own can stay real abstract. It can stay real someday-ish. It can just hang out there in the ether as something that you just pant over or woo over, but you never pursue. And so when we start talking about putting plan and strategy to the vision, we bring that someday closer, right? And we turn it into a possible approach, which is strategy, and a roadmap to execute it. So the strategy is how. It's where you begin to make these intentional choices about the step you're going to take first. What will you prioritize first? What will you say no to so the vision stays focused? Because once you ignite your ability to imagine, it awakens so many different aspects and so many great ideas will start to flow. And before you know it, you're shooting at so many different things because you have awakened the dreamer in you. You have awakened it. And so it's just firing off so much. And before you know it, you've got so many ideas that you need to capture because you have let loose your dreamer. Okay. But when you bring in strategy, strategy is the how. Where do you make this first intentional choice? What do you prioritize doing first? And it is also, what are you going to say no to so that you can stay focused? And that is a very hard part if you're doing it alone. You can feel like you're all over the place if you're doing it alone. And this is where coaching really begins to be a signature asset for you, because your coach can help you stay in the lines. Strategy is also how you're going to translate your brilliance into a business model, into offers, and into what I call revenue pathways. Those key things. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit more. I wanted to define business model. I want to define offer, or offer strategy, as I like to call it, and I want to define revenue pathways. But here's the thing. Remember, vision is the spark, and without strategy, vision can feel like wishful thinking. And you can really stay in your head with it, which is why when you sense the calling, when you sense the vision, you have to quickly get into a space, a room, and company where you can have some directional guidance and actionable steps. Otherwise, it'll stay too vague and you won't see it come to pass. So when we're talking about bringing plan and strategy to your vision, we're talking about giving you direction, and we're talking about taking action. Okay. Now, the plan part is where it becomes actionable. The plan is the when and the what next. It's where strategy gets broken down into steps. It gets broken down into milestones. It gets broken down into executable activity. It answers, what am I doing? What am I working on? What am I working on? And it helps you to set goals in terms of key milestones like quarter. What am I working on this quarter? What am I working on this month? What am I working on this week? It gives you guidance. I don't know how many people show up and say they don't know what to do, and it's because you don't have a plan. You have not been able to translate either your vision into a strategy and your strategy into a plan. And that's what happens in the room, and you get the guidance and support to do it. So when you have a plan, there are clear indications of what progress looks like, because the plan is going to tell you by this time frame, this needs to be complete. And the progress marker is, have I done it or not? Have I taken that step? Now, one of the things I see happen a lot with new entrepreneurs is they think a lot, but they don't act a lot. They got a lot of thoughts in their head, but the actions are minimal. And when you talk to them, their thoughts are so real to them that they think they've done something, but they actually haven't taken the step. And so accountability is a very important factor, because the plan now has something that is measurable that we can go back to. So we can understand, did I hit the milestone? And how do I know if I've hit the next milestone? Because the plan is going to indicate whether or not we have been able to achieve the milestone. So when we start talking about this experience that I've curated for the people who are going to be in the room, and right now there's only 9 seats left in the room, and I'm so excited, so grateful and thankful for that. There's 9 seats left in the room, but this room and space is going to be for the people who are ready to take the vision, the calling, the knowing, the inner impression of what it is that they're supposed to do, apply a strategy to it that incorporates your positioning and all of those incredible things that are going to make the business work into a plan that's executable. Now, everybody's going to be at different places, because there are some people who already have a business that they are coming into the room with, but they have a next level of success that they want to achieve. But the most prominent person who will be in the room is the one who is looking to do this for the very first time. And they need that guidance to help them understand how they are going to go from vision to strategy to plan. So the key thing is this: the vision gives us the why, the strategy gives us the how, and the plan gives us the when and what next. That's the difference between circling the idea and actually shifting into building the business that belongs to you. Now, here's the one notion that I want you to take, and I'm going to have to spill this over because I don't think I'm going to get through the content, but I was up front in saying I had a lot prepared. But here's the thing: vision without strategy is just a wish. Vision without strategy is just a wish. Another way I could say that a calling without strategy is still a wish. If you know you've been called to it, but you're not putting strategy to it, you're still wishing. You're still at the very beginning. You have not moved forward to the point where you're ready to execute, because the strategy is going to say, how do I bring it to market? And that is so key. That's why you have people who show up with these general things and they just say, I wrote a book. Okay, great. Or they just say, I started a business. And you say, what do you do? Oh, I just do this. They don't have a strategy. The strategy is going to tell me what problem you solve and why I need to consider you as the expert to help solve it for me. The strategy without a plan is just theory. Hear me. All three of these elements have to come together: the vision, strategy, and plan. And when they do, boom, that's when momentum starts to happen. And so if you're not experiencing momentum, then I would say one of these three parts is missing. Either your vision hasn't connected to a strategy, your strategy is incomplete, it needs pivoting, or your strategy hasn't connected to a plan that is being measured and reevaluated to ensure that you are generating momentum to the success that you want. Not only do they stand independently, but they go together. And that is how momentum happens. That's how you go from thinking about it to actually building it, is you begin to get in spaces where there is a strategy and plan that meets your vision. Now, I had a couple more definitions that I wanted to go through. I wanted to define what a business model is so that you can begin to understand that. I wanted to define what an offer package or an offer strategy is so that you can begin to understand it in the way that I teach it. And I also wanted to define what a revenue pathway is, but I am out of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold these things up and I'm going to share the definition of those things. A business model at a very high level is a blueprint for how your business creates, delivers, and captures value. I'll go deeper into differentiating approaches in all of the aspects. The author package, the way that I teach it, is that you have one offer, but that has three formats. It's delivered in three different formats because you want to make sure you're positioned to handle the sales conversation in a very powerful way. And I'll talk more about the offer package on tomorrow. And then finally, the last thing is the revenue pathway. And that is an intentional journey you create for your clients that maps them out to income goals, or that I create for my clients that maps them out for income goals. And so those are the definitions I'm going to go deeper in. And I will tell you, I think of them differently. I think of them strategically because that is who I am. I am a corporate exec turned business strategist and coach. Now, this entire experience, even though we just have a few days left, I showed up here, one, because I wanted to really be available to plant those seeds for you, especially the woman who is being called into entrepreneurship. I want to be a voice for saying, do it the right way. And the right way is what resonates with you. I shouldn't be able to hand you a business. I should be able to help you build a business, because we have to factor in who God called you to be. Purpose is a big part of it, especially when you're looking to continue your success. When you've reached a certain level and it's time to continue, purpose is a big part of it. So I wanted to talk about these different elements, but the key thing I know is true is it begins when we have that friction internally. The friction that says I should be doing more. I have more to contribute. I have more impact to make. I want to make more income. I want to define something or create something of legacy for my family. When you start having those inklings or that evolution ick, as I like to call it, when you start to have that, you cannot consider that as random. It is not random. It is very intentional. Most of the times when we are prompted to do something new or to elevate, we get uncomfortable where we are. In that evolution ick, that friction that you're feeling is the indication that it's time for you to move. And there is only one thing that happens when we stay too long. The discontentment continues to fuel, the disappointment continues to fuel, and you will become disconnected and disengaged. And so I want to invite you to become very curious about what it is you sense. And if you sense that you are being called to start your own business in this season, I will tell you that is not random. That is something that you really need to pay attention to. We are in the season of ownership. It is a key differentiator, and many of us are being called to build businesses, to be employers, and to make impact and money. And if you sense that is you, then I want to invite you to get in the room that is moving in that direction. So if you go to www.theceoshift.live, you will learn more about the event that I am hosting in Charlotte, North Carolina on October 25th and 26th. This is my personal invitation to you to get in the room and to experience what it's like to take your vision and apply a strategy and plan to it. Executing that is going to change your life. Answering the call is going to make an impactful difference. And so I want to again invite you. Now, here's my last ask. If you know someone that has been talking with you, and this message that you just listened to sounds like something they need to hear, I want you to be your sister's keeper. I want you to grab the link wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on LinkedIn, whether you're watching on Facebook. I want you to grab the link and I want you to pass it on to them. It is time for us to take responsibility and share what is needed with other people so that they can begin to experience the support and change that they need to accelerate their success. So if it's not for you, but you sense that it's for someone you know, be sure to pass it on. The last thing I will say is this is day 18 of this series. This has been an incredible series, absolutely, positively incredible for me and for other people. But if you missed any of it, I want to let you know there is a playlist on YouTube that has all of the videos there. I have tried my very best to keep them to 30 minutes, but as I did today, I have more content than I can share. But I am going to come back because I do want to talk about business models and how important it is to incorporate lifestyle into that. I do want to talk about offer strategies, and I want to talk about revenue pathways. And so I hope that you will stay with me. I got 2 more days in this series. It has been my delight. Now, if you want to get in the room, there are 9 spots left as of right now. If you go to www.theceoshift.live, you can learn more, and pre-sale ends on Sunday. That's the last day that you will be able to get the pre-sale rate. And if any seats are still open, they'll be available for however long I sense that I need to keep the doors open. I have a kickoff that is planned at the beginning of October. And so the doors are going to close at some point because I got to go with the goers. Okay. And so I want to invite you to check it out. If you're one of those people who wait to the last minute, you may snooze and lose. Take advantage of the opportunity to get in the room. October 25th and 26th in Charlotte, North Carolina, in person with me in a room in a very, very beautiful space where we will spend time and we will indeed bring strategy and plans to your vision. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good day.